everybody. Welcome to Q&A here on Monday. I just got in. I flew back from Pensacola this morning. So, yeah, just getting things together here. Lots of videos, lots of things to do, lots of stuff going on with the Dice Tower. I don't got time to think here. So, welcome to live Q&A. And if you have any questions, now's the time to ask them. And we'll just go through stuff. Where am I at? No hat? I don't feel like wearing a hat today. Sometimes that happens. Let's see here. You don't like my shirt? I don't care. I've never actually cared if anyone doesn't like my shirt. I always like when people say my eyes, as if my shirt hurts their eyes. Okay. Thank you for your colorful critique of my shirt. All right, let's see here. How long would it take to drive to Pensacola? 12 hours. So there's that. Okay. Well, you know what? Rich says, currently I play games like these, and what would you suggest? Rich, this is a good time for me to plug my FAQ. I just updated the FAQ with questions like this. So, for example, my answer to this one is I don't give these out because I don't know you. I don't really do like board game curation like this. People are like, hey, I like all these games. Here's a bunch of games. Tell me which ones to get. We do that work for you already. We do tons of reviews and top 10 lists and things talking about that. And we're just asking that you do a little bit of kind of research in that regard. Let's see here. I dropped off my daughter at college. Yep, Holly, my third daughter. So I have 3 daughters. I got to spend some time with them and my grandson all weekend. So I posted it on Facebook, but if you didn't see, I have a picture of me and my 3 daughters. Sorry, there's a ton of pictures here of me and my grandson. I don't know why. So let's airdrop this here to my computer. Boom. And then we'll put it here on the screen. At some point, we'll put it on the screen. There we go. So that's in the middle, that's me. And then that's the redhead is my daughter Holly, who's just starting as a freshman. Amy, who is a junior, and Melody, who is married, and then let me hang out with my grandson all weekend. So hooray! I've noticed a lot more weird videos concerning Dice Tower and Tom Vasel showing at my feet. So many conspiracy theories. I'd be hesitant to say conspiracy theories because I don't know that there's many conspiracy theories out there. I might say flat out bald-faced lies. You might be saying, I don't know, or maybe you're seeing things that say Tom Vasel is secretly whatever. Maybe there are conspiracy theories. I don't know. Anyways, it's something you've always had to deal with. Maybe, but my general thumb is you don't deal with them. We got things to talk about. Board games, right? Yay, board games. We know you don't care and it's okay. Well, no, it's not okay because even though I don't care, other people might care. I think you got to be careful what you say to people sometimes, you know, about the things they wear or do or say. Yeah, for me, yeah, water off a duck's back when people like, oh, I don't like that shirt or whatever. And I get it. I do like the shirt. That's why I got it. And it doesn't really bother me. But when we tell people, and I also feel it's kind of weird when we tell people like, hey, please dress like everyone else on earth. Please try to be as following the patterns as you possibly can. My daughters point out to me I was the only person wearing suspenders on the weekend. I was like, yeah, so, I mean, I don't know why we always have to be like everybody else in that regard. No suspenders. No, I always have suspenders on. They're just underneath the shirt. Hear them? Boom. Anyway, do the different studios at Dice Towers have different names? Currently, yes. This is Main Studio, and we have Beach Studio, and I think Flamingo Studio. I'm not sure we might call it a Boxing Studio. The new studio, which they're starting to work on tomorrow morning. So I don't know. We don't have a name for that yet. You did a video on family time games in Indy. Any other notable favorite game stores to tell us about? Well, actually, not really, because I just went to that one. People say, oh, you should go around the stores all over the place. Well, yes, but that would require time and traveling to go into all those places and money to get to those. I'd love to go on like a traveling spree and visit stores all over America, but that's just not possible. I just happen to be in Indianapolis. My niece moved to PCC this week. Any recommendation for gift cards I can send her? No, not really. Sorry. I don't normally send. My kids said never send gift cards, always send money. They'll pick where they want to go. Do you have the top 10 book nearby? I don't. I don't feel like doing it today anyway. Sorry. Best thing I ate this weekend? I was in Pensacola. Let's see. What was the best thing I ate? I had some barbecue. I think that was really good. A barbecue salad. There was some little barbecue joint there we went to. Oh no, I had some pho though. That was pretty good. I don't know which one. Where are you at? Not Pensacola. I said Pensacola, Florida. No, I'm in Homestead, Florida. Here's a lot of apostrophes. Would y'all ever, for a will play at live play from y'all's top 10, it would be fun to watch y'all play your favorite games. Maybe. Is it just me or the video's max at 720 and not 1080p? Well, you know, you're right. My stream is here on 720 instead of 1080. Huh. I need to change that. But I can't do that without stopping the stream. So I'll try to fix it after the stream's over. Sorry about that. That's a setting on my computer I didn't click. Weird. Would you ever consider having multiple retreats a year? I don't. I mean, we did 2 last year, but again, we only have so much time. If we did retreats and stuff all the time, that would be really fun. I don't deny that. But then we wouldn't actually put out content on our channel, and I know you all want that. Are those glasses new? They're newish. Usually you see me wear my other pair, but I left my other pair at home, so this is my backup pair. Any new top 10s coming out? Yeah, this week we're doing our top 10 games that should have been an email. You can go vote on it at dicetower.com if you want. Do you find yourself whistling the Dice Tower theme song? Sometimes, once in a while. You said you updated the FAQ. When's that coming out? It's actually out. Maybe someone can put a link to it in the comments. Oh, well, never mind. Loopy did it right here. Boom. Let's see here. Are there any plans to work with Trey Parker again, or perhaps with other actor gamers like Neil Patrick Harris? I don't think most of these people know I exist. Maybe we'll do something with Trey in the future, but I'm sure he's a very, very busy individual. Makes me look non-busy compared. Who does all the music for the Dice Tower? Well, the original theme was written by Timothy Pinkham. He also did the jazz theme that you hear in the beginning of many of our reviews. And David Culling is now doing all these different arrangements, doing a fantastic job at them. Is the studio still being updated, worked on? Yes. We've emptied it. Now tomorrow they're coming in to work on that, and then we're going to put carpet in there and then start putting some background stuff in there. We'll get to it. Hey, Remco Pet, thanks for becoming a member. That's very nice. What would you define as a mini game within a board game? Well, for example, like in Space Cadets, the Space Cadets, you're trying to keep your ship from crashing and everything. And when the guy who shoots at the enemies has this little flicking thing, and he's trying to flick it and land on this stuff. It's like a little game. It could be a game, but it's a game inside a game. That's what I consider to be a mini game. Any chance we could get dice people or names in the thumbnail of the Dice Tower Studio reviews? Can't see description when watching on TV Roku. I am not convinced I want to do this. The Dice Tower Studio is a thing. I don't know that it should matter who's doing what reviews. You might say, I love Tom. Well, fantastic. But if you want to know about a game, why does it matter whether I reviewed it or Z reviewed it? You're going to get the people from the Dice Tower. We're not going to be doing duplicate reviews anymore. There's going to be one review coming from Dice Tower Studios, and everyone who had a chance to play it will be in that review. So I don't think so, honestly. I mean, I've changed my mind about things in the past and all, but for now, I don't want to. Generally speaking, would you rather play 3 one-hour games or 1 3-hour game? Nah, it all depends, but probably 3 one-hour games. How old is Tom? Tom is 45, but September 8th, which is only, 10 days away, is my birthday. Then I'll be 46. Do you know why certain streams bring out more negativities than live chats? Was it the subject matter that tend to trigger that? I don't know what that means, actually. Why certain streams, like Q&A? Tom is not aging in reverse. My knees and my body falling apart would say otherwise. My kids have told me about my eyebrows are too long. I need to trim them. I was like, does that matter? Now I don't want to trim it just to irritate them. But no, I definitely feel older than I once was. I'm sure you can go back and look at the first videos I did 2008. I'm sure I look a lot younger then. Is there a chance putting a live stream camera in the corner of the new studio build, or perhaps a time lapse of it? Would be cool to watch it be built. Well, I don't think so, because first of all, no, because it's going to be done in different sections and different parts. And then we might say, oh, we're going to put this bookcase in. And we're like, let's take the bookcase out. And I'll tell you why I'm not going to do that, because we'll set it up one way and go, we'll like another way. And then we'll have people come in and go, it was so much better that way. And also, we'd have to be turning the camera on and off. It's not like it's going to be done in a day. This is a week's project, months perhaps. Living in southern Florida, do you hear the Margaritaville song so much you can't stand it? No, not particularly. Any tips for teaching kids playing games to be gracious winners or losers? I don't know. I just keep playing games with them. When they lose, I make sure they know they lost. And you gotta, and I just don't tolerate it. It is non-tolerable behavior. Are you allowed to punch someone at the table? No. Are you allowed to have a bad attitude when you win or lose? No. It's not allowed behavior. Now, you can't control what's inside, but I think you need to really reinforce that at a young age. For someone who's ever been to PAX Unplugged, what's the difference between that and Gen Con? Well, age, for one, and that's not an exaggeration. PAX is definitely a much younger convention. PAX has a less frenzied feel. People don't go in there to just buy everything up. There's also not a lot of brand new games there like there is at Gen Con. It has a more relaxed feel. I feel like the open gaming isn't particularly strong at PAX. I like PAX very much, but like if you don't go with a gaming group, it's hard to jump into games. And the scene at night isn't like Gen Con. Gen Con has stuff going on all the time. PAX is kind of during the day. There might be a few things at night, but not nearly as much. There's still gaming in the evening there. But yeah, I think that's the main differences. And Gen Con is still bigger currently. Does anyone on Dice Tower Network review free print and plays? If you mean a network like in the audio podcast, maybe. I know Ambi was doing it for a while on Board Game Breakfast, but here at the main thing, it's not going to happen. Did you play the rest of the Jurassic Island Legacy of Isla Nublar? No, but I'm actually planning to play it, despite the fairly negative reviews. I have actually not watched a review because I don't want it to taint my playing of it, although I've heard many of the comments, as time has gone by. I'm going to try and play it with my kids, but we'll see. Will there be a VIP option for Dice Tower West? No, I'm kind of getting tired of VIPs options. So I think we're going to be phasing them out of Dice Tower things. Last movie I saw in the theaters. I guess it was the last Marvel movie. What was the last Marvel movie? Thor. Yeah, that was it. Tom, 6 years ago in October, I shared with you in your Q&A that I lost my 27-day-old daughter to heart defects. You stopped everything, and you spoke to my loss, and that was so meaningful to me. Well, I mean, I like to joke about a lot of things and stuff, but some things are serious. Yeah, I was just thinking about loss over the week, although this is a different loss of kids leaving my house. I'm going home tonight to only 4 kids. Still 4 kids. That's more than most people have. But you see the kids leave, and Holly was having such a good time. She made friends already and everything. I don't think she missed me that much, but at least my grandson Melody, they're moving closer to moving to Tampa, so they'll only be 4 hours away. So I'll get to see him more often. Yeah, I don't know why. Anyway, moving on. Yes, Derek says support the Jack Vasel Memorial Fund. Yes, jackvasel.org. We help people all the time. Could you guys do a We'll Play It Live, a Nemesis for the spooky season? No, I think we'll have something else in store for you. We'll see. I have not an idea because it's already done. Are you thinking about doing a list that puts music to games like Chris did? No, that was Chris's thing. I'll let him do that. Which X-Men do you think will be the first to get introduced in the MCU? I'm assuming Wolverine, right? Well, I mean, I guess technically Ms. Marvel. But I'm assuming Wolverine will be the first one. He's the most popular, although how they do that without casting Hugh Jackman is beyond me. I don't know what they'll do. Remember, many of the questions you ask are on the Dice Tower FAQ, for sure. Is there a trick to getting a ticket to the retreat? Not just year, just in general. Well, no, I know they sold out very quickly this year, but there was a waiting list, and I have almost gone through the entire waiting list. So, if anyone was on that waiting list, they got in, pretty much. I am going to do this, though. I am going to write down some questions that, I'm going to write down some questions that people ask that I'm going to put in my, that people ask all the time. So what board game theme would you like to see more of? Grocery stores. All right. How do you clean playmats? I just rub them with a rag. How does Marvel Zombies compare to Wild West Zombies? I've played neither game. What makes a game a sandbox game? The fact that you can go around in it and do pretty much anything. Are you excited to see the new Unfinity Magic the Gathering set? I am, actually. I like stuff like that. Have I talked to Sam Healy since he joined Monster Fight Club? I have not talked to him since that point, no. Is 4 Squares no longer? Well, yes, it's no longer, but that's because lots of reviews are 4 Squares. So we have lots of different reviews. I mean, so last week, for example, let's pull up the schedule for last week. So last week, we already had the 4 Squares set up that was Jurassic Park. But let's see what else we had. Well, the Great American Male Race was 3 people. Mythic Mischief was 4 people. Evergreen was 4 people. The Spill was 4 people. Mosaic was 3 people. Longboard was 3 people. Quacks was 3 people. Town 66 was 3 people. Captain's War was 3 people. Turing Machine was 4 people. So that's a lot. So they're really, I mean, they haven't gone anywhere. We're just renamed them, really. This week we'll probably have a few less of them. I'm seeing a lot of reviews have 2 people on it. There's a review with 3 people. There's a review with 3 people. There's one with 4. All right. Okay. Oh, okay. Thank you. So I'm supposed to tell you a couple things. First of all, you're supposed to sign up for the cruise. There's plenty of spots on the cruise. So Dice Tower West registration is live. But what I got the note for here is the Board Game Geek store will have an update this afternoon that includes many of our promos from our 2021 Kickstarter. Not the one that we're having now, but from 2021. So if you're waiting and looking for some of that stuff, hooray! It's the Board Game Geek store. All right. I believe you mentioned Top Shelf Gamers, place to get upgraded components for your board games. Any other places you recommend off the top of your head? Etsy, 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 Etsy. Do you think upgrading your videos to 4K would allow your viewers to see the text or icons on cards, board? If so, any plans on the upgrade? If you mean by streaming in 4K, I don't know. We haven't really tried that. I would worry that it would be very difficult on the internet. I don't know. Maybe we'll try a stream in 4K at some point. But as for recording videos in 4K, I don't think so. I think 4K at a certain point, the only people who need it in 4K are people watching on giant TVs. They might notice the more detail. But most people, and I know this for sure, most people are watching us on phones and such. So if we do things in 4K, it would triple the processing time for everything to get done. And I don't know that we want to do that yet. Can you explain how this game should have been an email will be incorporated to a top 10? Yeah, an email. This should have been an email is a phrase we often use in teacher meetings. You know, we're like, oh, why are we having this meeting? It could have been an email. So basically, games that are just too long, they would be so much better if they were shorter. Oh, you're talking about Thursday's chat. Because people were unhappy with some of the things people were saying. Yeah, and I saw a thread on Facebook where people were talking about that. I don't know, I think people were just disagreeing. I don't know, that sort of thing kind of, again, I didn't find it to be too bad. But yeah, people have very strong opinions, and that's fine. I guess you got to realize you're talking to human beings, though, sometimes. Favorite character from the Mario universe? Luigi, of course. How do you continue to have so much energy? Well, I use it up on videos. At night, I go home. I'm gonna collapse tonight for sure. What do you think of the Ark Nova map pack, including only 2 sheets instead of 4, 1 for each player? Well, I mean, they're just new maps. You can mix them with the maps that the game already has. Not everyone has to have a new map. Right? I mean, there's already a ton of different maps in the game. This just adds some more. So I don't know that matters. Unless you're playing, everyone's like, we all want to have the new maps. I mean, I guess at that point, you're kind of stuck. Can you talk about how you curate the library a little? Well, I could talk about that all day long. It's something I'm constantly working on. In fact, it's interesting because we have a ton of new games going into the library. I got some games right here that we're reviewing this week going in the library. A lot of those games are not going in the library too. But right now, the library has fewer games than it did at Dice Tower East. And it's possible that that's still going to be the case when the retreat happens. In fact, it's pretty probable, actually. How is that? Because I just pulled a ton of games out. I constantly look and see no one plays this game, it's out. This game isn't... Actually, we might not have more. We might have the same amount. because I just realized I got rid of some really giant games, and that's why we have more space on the shelf. So maybe it's about the same. Because we had 26 shelves, we now have 25 and a half shelves. But I might fill up that 26 shelf as time goes by. Anyway, I just look at games and no one plays it, it's out. It's just, that's how the library is going to be. I want to have a library that's full of all kinds of fantastic games that people actually play. What's the most spicy thing you've ever eaten? I don't know. Hot sauce? I don't know the hottest one I've ever eaten. Hottest one I've ever eaten maybe was Da Bomb. But it's been so long since I won't even touch the ones that are super, super hot anymore. Because I want to taste the flavor. I know it's, to me, the really, 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 really hot sauces are kind of just there so that you can say you ate something really, really hot. Like most people, I doubt, so here's what I think, like the really hot sauce, I would bet, and I could be wrong on this, but I would bet like Dave's Ultimate Insanity, Da Bomb, the ones that are like one drop in a bowl of chili makes the entire bowl of chili hot. I would bet that almost no one ever uses those alone. Because the whole point of putting that really hot sauce on your stuff is to show other people, I can do this. Now, I'm not talking about just hot sauce in general. And I realize that a lot of hot sauces that I like would be unfathomably hot to many people. Because I just like hot sauce, and so I use it all the time. But I would wager that the ones that are really hot, to the point where they have to put the labels on the bottle, those only exist for the sole purpose of showing off. And I'm sure everyone says, yeah, yes, no, I really like it this hot. Okay, that's fantastic. But do you do it when no one's around? Because when you put that super hot sauce on your thing, you kind of make sure everyone knows you're doing it, right? Oh, maybe I'm wrong. Do you think the Dice Tower could go to Origins in 2023? I'm not planning on it. But it might happen, but I'm not planning on it. How did Roy tell you about last night? I saw him demoing it in a store, so I asked him what it was. Marvel Zombies did not have one overall score. It had a score from each person. If you listen to the video, people said their scores. They all get scores. We just give the seal based on the highest score. What's your favorite song? I don't know if I have a singular favorite song, so I can't sing a line of it now, can I? When are you getting a third dog? Oh man, my wife might murder me. So no, we're not. What eye procedure did you get? My sister got LASIK 8 years ago and regrets it. Also, do you have to get an injection in your eyeball? I don't remember what they did. I didn't ask any questions. I was like, just do it. They're like, do you want to see it? I'm like, nah, it worked. So I don't really know. I don't regret it. I mean, I'm wearing glasses now because my eyesight has deteriorated because I'm old. But they told me that before I got LASIK. They're like, when you turn 40, because I was farsighted, so I couldn't see things that were far away. I could only see things that were close. They said, so I got that fixed. And I can still see things far away. But now, me seeing things close is going away because that just happens with old age. It is what it is. Would I say that golf is a large dexterity game with overproduced components? No, I would not say that. Although, it did make me think. We were in Pensacola, and I was buying an umbrella for my daughter, and every store was out of umbrellas because Pensacola just went through a ton of rain. So apparently everyone went out and bought all the umbrellas. I mean, I found a few dinky umbrellas, but you need an umbrella. Finally, we were at Dick's Sporting Goods, and I found a big umbrella there in the golf section. So I was like, oh great, found one. Took it to the counter, and after them finally finding it, because it didn't have a tag on it or something, and the lady said that'll be $90, and my jaw dropped open. I was like, I'm sorry, did you say $90 for an umbrella? So we just left it there, and we went to Amazon and ordered one. And I said, hopefully you'll get it before it rains. So we'll see. It's supposed to arrive on Tuesday. $90 for an umbrella. Maybe that's how much umbrellas cost these days, but that surprised me a lot. I was expecting it to be like $30 because it was a big umbrella. But 90? Golfers, they pay a lot of money. What's your favorite song to listen to while playing games? I like listening to movie soundtracks. If you could move to any place in Florida and keep your house, would you stay in the same place? That's kind of a mixed question. I really like Miami. I really like the area here. It's very expensive, but I like the area. I like the mixed cultures. I think that's really neat. We have a good church that we go to that we're part of. Yeah, I like that. But you know what? I would like wherever I go. I found in life that wherever you go, you like it. I loved Korea. When I lived in Pensacola, I liked living there. I liked growing up in Allentown. I don't know. You just like where you're at, right? You always found things that you don't like where you're at. And, you know, I was really surprised when we moved down here to what I would think many people in the world would think is paradise, and how many people complained about it all the time. Yeah, there's downsides to Miami. Traffic's not the best. You have to drive to go anywhere. Not great public transportation. It's hot. There's bugs. But we have the best winters in the world. We have fruit for not particularly expensive prices everywhere. Fresh, delicious fruit and vegetables. We have beautiful sunsets. There's the Everglades right around the corner. I already mentioned the melting pot of cultures. That I really like. The Cuban culture is just so much fun to hang out with people. It's close to Orlando. We have some good airports here. I like it, and it's great. Tom, you mentioned several of these changes are coming to the Dice Tower. Well, the biggest change was the one we just made, where we are doing multiple reviewers on board games now. And I think that's been really good because you're getting to hear various voices on board games. As with any change in the history of humanity, many people have told me they do not like such change. But I think more people like it than not. But then at the end of the day, I think it matters what I want. It does mean we have to explain our rating system many more times. You know, how comes if only Tom gave it an 8 and everyone else rated it low, it still gets the seal of approval? Because that's the way it's always been. We just didn't have those other people in the video before. So, yeah, it's true. Professor X was in Doctor Strange too. But that was from a different universe, so it doesn't count. Have you considered the game show being a separate video after Board Game Breakfast, similar to the news segment? Yeah, I have. If Will Wheaton decided to reboot his tabletop series and he asked you to play a game in an episode, there's a lot of what ifs. Would you try and go? I don't know. We'd have to wait and see. What is my favorite flightless bird? This feels like a trick question. I'll say penguin. Let's see here. Grocery store is such a wacky theme. That would be like there being a dentist appointment game. It's a chore nobody has fun doing. Do you really believe that? Do you believe that going to the dentist is equivalent to going to the grocery store? Maybe just me. I love going to the grocery store. Yeah, sometimes you're like, oh, I don't feel like going right now. But you're picking out food and you pick out things you'd like, and there's all kinds of interesting things that are sold at a grocery store, or stores in general. It doesn't have to be a grocery store. Pick a store you like that, a toy store, whatever. But I've always found that concept to be interesting and fun. I hate shopping for clothes. I don't really see, I like buying shirts and ties and things like that, but I don't like going to the mall for clothes, right? Just like, it doesn't interest me. But food always interests me. I'm like, ooh, look at that. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Ooh, give me a sample of that. I don't know. For me, the grocery experience is fun. I enjoy going. We know Final Fantasy Tactics is your #1 video game. What's number 2? I don't know what my top 10 would be right now because there's a lot of games that would fight to be in the top 10. Socks or bare feet in the house? It has to be socks for me. Like a week ago, I took my socks off because they had a hole in them. That's what it was. I was like, I'm taking these off. And then I drove me nuts that I was in bare feet the rest of the day. Drove me nuts. Socks, please. Now, in the bed, I want bare feet because I want my feet to breathe at night. And yes, I know that that's a old wives' tale. Your feet don't need to, quote unquote, breathe. But I feel good bare feet in bed. Tom, I just got tickets last week for Dice Tower West. Well, hooray! We can't wait to see you. It's my first true board game con. What do you recommend for a first-timer? Well, come by and say hi to the Dice Tower, folks. And just maybe go to the hot games area. Hang out in the library and see if you can find someone else looking for a game or get a game. And then when people come in the library, ask for them to join you. Use the player one it. Go visit the different booths that are there. I think you're going to really have a good time. But if nothing else, if you're having a terrible time, come find me and I'll get you in a game. Let's see here. Was Talisman ever a good game? I recently played for the first time, and it's an endless cycle. I'm puzzled how it's made it 4 editions. Part of that, I think, is nostalgia. So, to answer your question, no, I don't think it's ever been a good game. That being said, that's my opinion from Tom Vasel. A lot of people really like it. When it came out, people loved it, and so they just keep making new editions of it, and people are still lapping it up and enjoying it. So, what do you know? I think it's a bad game, but people like it. Bacon sausage links or sausage patties? If you're talking for breakfast, none of those really, because I'll eat any of the 3 of those, I suppose. But that breakfast sausage is trash for me. I love sausage. I love it so much. But whatever, in America we have this thing called breakfast sausage. I dislike it. I think it tastes salty and not that good. So if I'm making breakfast, we're having Italian sausage or Argentinian sausage or kielbasa or whatever sausage, any of the other millions of sausages. So that's what I would pick. Bacon is fine. I don't hate it, but I don't love it either. I'll eat a piece of bacon or so. I like bacon in stuff, like a BLT is fantastic, but I don't really like bacon by itself that much, unless it's turkey bacon, in which case I can eat it all day long. Is there a contest today, says Ross? I believe there is. Let's check and see. Today is... Let's see. Today is what? Wait, did I open the wrong? I opened the wrong sponsorship document. That's the Board Game Breakfast sponsorship. Today is 8/29. So you can email us at contest@dicetower.com to get a $10 Game Nerd certificate. Game Nerds, of course, being a fantastic place to get games. Man, do people like getting games from them. They have a huge selection, great prices. Let's take a look at, I just got a thumbs down. I guess it's because I mentioned Game Nerds. Or the contest. Someone hates contests. Anyway, let's see what we got. Board games, and we'll sort by recently added. Let's see what's recently added here. One Deck Galaxy, that was on Kickstarter. My First Escape Game. I'm looking forward to trying that one out. These are all pre-orders, though. Is there anything that's not a pre-order? 3,000 Scoundrels is a pre-order. The Yawning Portal. There's a lot of interesting games here. The Spill, we just talked about that on the Dice Tower. Arc Ice. When's that coming out? Micro Macro. Wow, there's a lot of cool games here. Anyway, you get a $10 gift certificate for them. Just email us at contest@dicetower.com. There's a thumb war going on now with people giving positive and negative thumbs. I shouldn't mention it. Anyway, you can email us at contest@dicetower.com, and in the subject line, put the word lemon. Because when life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. You always make lemonade. Or you squirt them on top of shrimp. Shrimp. So emails at lemon, and then in the body of your email, put lemons or limes. Which one's better? Because the answer is limes. Alrighty. Have you guys stayed at the Rio in Vegas? Yes. Is the Strip walkable from there? Yes. It takes, at a brisk walk, it takes 17 minutes. I know this because I timed it. I would say that I would not walk there at night. I would probably take an Uber. Well, I would walk there at night with a group of people, maybe. It's not a tremendously exhilarating walk because you're walking next to a pretty busy road. You cross over a highway on a bridge, and then you walk next to Caesars for a really long time. It's fine, but it's very doable. 17 minutes, not that hard. What caused you and others to create the Dice Tower channel? I have the history of the Dice Tower. I think that's a question that I should put in there. History of Dice Tower. There we go. The reason for wanting to know who the reviewer is going to be is because reviews are inherently subjective. I agree. And knowing who reviews you agree with is a big part of finding a reviewer you trust. I also agree with that. But if the reviews are mostly mixed groups, then it's the Dice Tower. It's going to be a mix, right? So hopefully in that group you would find someone that you agree with. Does that include the Z Garcia promo for Atlantis Rising? I do not know what it is. So we're talking about the Board Game Geek store? I don't know. What would you do if you got an Etsy sponsorship? I'd be happy, I guess. What software do you use to edit videos and or audio segments? Final Cut Pro. On 1440p, a lot is still blurry. It shouldn't be blurry, and I think you mean 1480. Seeing as you're a food guy, what's your opinion on tipping in restaurants? I don't know. It's kind of a weird situation. So if you're overseas, you probably don't even understand what we're talking about. Or you probably do because everyone talks about it. And a lot of overseas, they don't tip in restaurants. In America, you tip at a restaurant. When I was a kid, I was taught tipping is 15%. Now, somehow that has moved. And tipping to me has become a really confusing endeavor because you can tip anywhere, anytime. Like if you go and order food at a restaurant and pick it up at the restaurant, you're still asked to tip. And I'm not sure who the tip even goes to then. Like you can tip at Starbucks, you can tip everywhere. And when you get your bill at the restaurant now, 18% is the lowest amount. They're like 18, 20, 25 usually. I'm not sure how I feel about it. On what I think tipping for good service is a good thing, but it feels like, you know, sometimes I go to a restaurant and I've had really bad service. And I'm like, well, I'm not going to tip. I was like, you have to tip. Like, if you have to tip, then just put it on the bill. It doesn't feel like you have to. I don't want to tip someone who does a bad job. You know, when if I go in a restaurant, the restaurant's empty, and I see the waiter just standing around the corner like on his phone or something instead of serving me, why am I tipping them? You know, they want to, they're working minimum wage style, so they get minimum wage, I guess. Everyone says, well, restaurants should just add tips into their thing, but if you did that, your restaurant would have the most expensive prices in town and no one will go there. So until there's some general change across the board with all restaurants, nothing's going to change. So I don't know. I like tipping people for good service. I like to do that. I think it's fun. You did a good job, you get a tip. I think that's fantastic. The idea that it's required, though, seems a little weird to me. I know you love Ark Nova, but as much as we love it, we have one person in our game group that just killed it for all of us because he was taking too long to take his actions. Just don't play with that person then. That's what I would do. Surprised you say most people watch on phones, etc. I watch 99% of my YouTube on my big screen. Not a lot of people do, but you would be surprised many people watch. It's funny to me just how much, like, my wife and my kids watch so much TV on their phones. And I'm like, and I get, you know, you're on the go, you're in the car, sure. But like when we're at home and we have the big screen TV there, and I got kids sitting on the couch watching something on their phone, no one else is watching anything on that big TV. I'm like, you could, why? It's really weird to me, but it is definitely a modern thing, and I'm just being an old fogey apparently. It's funny, as our resolution keeps going up with 8K, 16K TVs, and everyone's just watching on their phone. Favorite animal, Arc Nova? I did my favorite cards. You can go find that list. Are we going to see a Marvel Zombies game review from you? Not of the current one, but when the CMON stuff delivers, I'm sure I'll be playing that one. What do you think of the coffee cup meeple, Mark Nova? I don't know. I replaced it. Which do you like to do more, teach games or play them? I don't know. I think teach. It's pretty close, though. Being down in Florida, do you have an interest in SLS or other space launches? I'm interested in them. I just don't get around to seeing them or doing a whole lot with that all the time. It's something I think is very interesting. Any tips for new Elden Ring player? Woo, have fun, explore everything. I feel no shame, and there are some new player guides online. I would find some of that stuff because some of that stuff I might have and I did miss at the beginning. And so following those guides, I don't care. It's still hard. It's still challenging. It's still fun, even with a guide telling you what to do things when you're new. Are there a certain flow you follow for reviews? Do you review in a first come, first serve? Well, not particularly, because we say next week we're going to be reviewing these games and other people have a chance to play them. Have you played Tortuga 2199? No. Do you still run dehumidifiers for the library? Oh no, that was back when I was in Korea. No, here we're air conditioned here at the studio. When you made your career change post-teaching, were you scared? Oh my, yes. I'm about to change my career and there's loads of fear, excitement, and tiptoeing. Yeah, I was very nervous about going off on my own. Let's see here. People are talking about spicy noodles. Do you like spicy sauces? Yes, I do like spicy sauces. But if so, what do you put them on? I put sauce on almost everything. Everything. Sauce or spices. I have a cabinet of spice and I have a cabinet of sauces. And I try to figure out what's the best one for the meal. Now, sometimes it's good and doesn't need sauce. I don't put it on everything. But I like adding sauces to stuff. What are your thoughts on New Heroescape moving to an unassembled, unpainted business? I don't know what unassembled means. The miniatures are coming together. They're not coming unassembled. I don't think they're coming unassembled. They're just unpainted. I don't know. I'll have to wait and see them. What game is harder to master, Bridge or Magic the Gathering? I have no idea. How would you feel about parody of Dice Tower content? Well, it already exists. I'm easy to parody, right? If someone wants to dress up or mock or mimic Tom Vasel, I kind of give it to you on a silver platter, right? How much has Babylonia played at the Dice Tower conventions? Not much. It seemed it was going to become a classic. I don't think so. And it did seem some people, but still seems quite niche. Most games are like that. I don't think you realize how most games are not going to get much play after the first 3 or 4 months. That's the way it is with almost every game in existence. Let's see here. You talk much of your love of soundtracks. What's your favorite? I don't know. I've been going through and listening to them. There's so many good ones. Probably Indiana Jones, the trilogy of Indiana Jones. I really like that piece. What's the most popular Dice Tower event? You mean the one that has the most people? Is Dice Tower West currently. Let's see here. I remember being amusing in Chinatown in New York City when it begins raining and suddenly all these people appear with little pool carts selling umbrellas for a few bucks. It was definitely, when we lived in Korea, it was that way too. You get off the subway and we'd be walking towards the exit and I'd be like, it's raining. I can tell because there's someone there selling umbrellas. Hey man, that's the way it is. No, it was not a beach umbrella. It was an umbrella you could carry. Did you think what you would do with a review when 3 give it a 4 and 1 gives it a 9? Would it still be a seal of excellent? Yes. Because again, I'm going to say this till I go blue in the face. If that person reviewed it by themselves and gave it a 9, you wouldn't say anything. It's the same thing. I think a game can be great for some people. It's when a game is mediocre for everybody, those are the ones I'm trying to weed out. Golf umbrellas are built like tanks. Yeah, I have a couple here in the studio for when it rains. I like them. How often do you get to the Keys? Once every 3 months or so? Do you long for a wintry Christmas ever? Sort of, until I see the snow, then I'm like, oh yeah, that's right. When I lived in Florida, I was amazed by how beautiful the clouds were. Best clouds, they really are beautiful down here. Let's see here. No. Steve says there's a Reddit thread about Dice Tower changes. Get a life, folks. No, I don't mind that people talk about that sort of thing. That's fine. That's not getting a life. I think it's okay for people to talk about change. I don't mind that. I read all these threads. I don't respond to everything. In fact, I don't respond to much of what's written online, but I read as much of it as I can. Let's see here. I've seen ostriches up close. I don't know what we're talking about here. I love going to grocery stores, says Nick, but then again, I like to cook. I agree. Let's see here. Maybe a haunted grocery store game. I hate paying for groceries. That I get. Shopping makes me feel anxious. It's so expensive. No, I get that. I don't know. It's interesting to me to see all the different meats and everything. I don't know. I just love going through the grocery stores. Someone needs to go through all Tom Q&As and count all the times he says, let's see here. Yeah, that's true. That's my way of filling dead space, I suppose. I wonder what's next. Clothes at the mall is more fun than grocery shopping. Well, there you go. Not for me. Let's see here. The biggest loss because of review changes are Chris, Roy, Mike, individual intros for the rapid fire roundups. You might still see rapid fire roundups in the back. Squeaky chair. You're right. I can't. The problem is these chairs, I was going to oil them or whatever, but all that stuff's on the inside of the chair, so I couldn't get inside to figure it out. Do you go sock, sock, shoe, shoe, or sock, shoe, sock? Does anyone do sock, shoe, sock, shoe? First of all, I would imagine most people are like me, where your shoes are by the door of your house if you don't wear them in the house. If you don't wear them in the house, it's always sock, sock, and then you go to the door and it's shoe, shoe. I guess if you keep your shoes in your room, I still would do sock, sock, shoe, shoe. But I could see people doing otherwise. But if you're by the front door, there's no option. Let's see here. Oh, I said it again. Oh, no. What do you find to be the most relaxing and satisfying board game? Didn't we do that one time? Let me see if I did that. Top 10 Relaxing games. I feel like we did that one time. We did. In 2020. It wasn't even that long ago. Let me pull it up and see. My number, that was me, Mike, and Z. And my number 1 was, oops, that's Z's. No one cares about that. I'm Mike Lee, Standard Time, so join us for that. And until then, I'm Tom Vasel.
I'm Z Garcia, thank you.
I'm Mike Delizio. Take care, everybody.
Okay, that was it was a virtual one.
Bye.
All right, Mike's was Tokaido. I was gonna say Tokaido. Tokaido's a good relaxing game. Let's see what mine was. That's Z. Z said Herbaceous. That's a, I guess it's relaxing. What did I say? Dominion. Oh yeah, that's true. Because I just play Dominion and sit there and shuffle the cards and play. I can see that. All right, back to, where are we? Ecamm Live here. Sweet or hot Italian sausage? I like them both, actually. I think actually straight up evenly. We make our own sausage. I did go to a beef jerky store while I was in Pensacola, so that was fun. With the children slowly vacating the Vasel compound, what are your plans for the extra space at home? I haven't found that there's too much extra space yet. For whatever reason, the other kids are filling it quickly. Let's see here. People are talking about sausage and bacon. And let's see here. Lemon curd. Let's see. Lemon limes or key limes? You know, I've never had a key lime by itself, just they're really small, so I haven't ever tasted one. I should buy some. I don't think you eat them though. I don't think they're made for eating, made for anything. I don't think people eat them, I guess. All right, let's see here. Sorry, I'm just trying to move down here. Yeah, Kabuki was talking about tipping. 15 is old school. Then went to 18 or 20. I just give 20% or more. Sure, it's just that when you pay for a large party, that 20% or more sometimes wallops you one, and it's more difficult to do it. Kirk says, I tip 20% because the math is easy, and I've had friends who wait at tables and need tips to make a living wage. I agree that is useful. I just don't feel like I should be guilted into me paying your living wage with my tip if you did bad service. I've gone to boutique stores and asking for tips. I don't even know if that's a thing. It's just that if you use a square interface, you'll flip it towards the other person. And so I'll go to like a place that's selling, I don't know, a candy stand. And they're like selling flavored licorice. I'm like, ooh, peach licorice, which is delicious. I'll take some of that. And then, okay, that costs, $6. Then the guy flips it to me and I'm like, 15% tip. What am I tipping for? Like, am I tipping because you did a good job handing me the licorice? That's where I get confused. Oh, now we're going to argue about tipping for a while. Tipping the way it is implemented in the U.S. is a horrible concept, but it exists. You can't just wipe it away. It exists, so we have to deal with the parameters of where it's at. You can't just be like, no more tipping. I mean, unless you make legislation that says so. Let's see here. What are your thoughts on expandable card games? They're like this. I mean, it's like a CCG, except there's no collectability to it. I get that part of it, and that works well. But I mean, if you think about it, it's not particularly different than any game like Dominion that has expansions. Alrighty. I'm going to be sliding down here to the bottom because time is basically up here. And man, there's a lot of questions I didn't answer. I apologize for that. Well, there you go. I appreciate all the questions. I got a lot of things to review. We have a really cool game we're about to talk about right now. We're going to be reviewing that. I have another review I got to get done today, and I got to do payroll and lots of other things going on. It's exciting. And then I'm going to bed at some point. But I'm going to go see my last 4 kids and hug them all. They'll be like, Dad. I'll be like, stay with me a little bit longer. So anyway, I appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you all for coming in, joining me for a Q&A. I know some people have been asking about marbles and when marbles will be coming back. It'll be coming back at some point. But the retreat is very close. The library is being worked on. And so just lots of things here. Thank you all. Until next time, I'm Tom Vasel, and you've been watching Q&A on the Dice Tower.